Welcome back to the final credits. On today's episode, we're going to be talking a little bit about Carl Weathers, a little bit about our review of Argylle, and a new movie starring Henry Cavill that we cannot remember its name.
I got it. Ministry of the Ungentlemanly Warfare.
There you go.
What he said.
Yep.
Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, exactly. Today we got Joey Pancakes,
Hello, hello.
Johnny64,
Hey.
and myself, Mike Spade. So we're going to go straight into it. We're going to talk a little bit about Carl Weathers. Now, Carl Weathers is, I want to say, he's a legend because he's been in more movies than probably most people even know.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? This man...
A true working actor.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that the
Yeah.
definition of a working actor for sure. What his most famous roles throughout?
Yeah, he's got like 80, I believe there's 80 movies that he's been in. 17 he's directed, whether they were movies or TV shows. And he's also been a producer in 4. And he's done so many voiceovers in so many different animations. So, guys, I remember him as Apollo Creed.
I think we all do.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
the Rocky fan in me was like,
So-
oh, man, Apollo Creed, it's like he died for real. Like,
Yeah. So, what do you guys? What are your favorite? I don't know, movies that he's been in.
yeah. Well, like I said, Rocky, I mean, he's always going to be iconic as Apollo Creed and what he contributed to that story. And I don't know if you saw Sylvester Stallone like put out a really like good, like touching tribute to him on Instagram. Made a video.
I did.
And just talking about like how influential he was like to like the creation of the Rocky series too, like how much he helped Sylvester Stallone like get the story going, like bring out the most of both Carl's character and Sylvester's character as Rocky too. And like I said, if you haven't seen it, it's almost a tearjerker because you could see how emotional he gets about like just knowing that he lost them. But yeah, I mean, for me, like I said, I'm a Rocky fan. That's I'm always gonna remember him as that. But
Every hero needs a villain, or a protagonist needs an antagonist, especially in those first two Rocky movies. He's not a villain in the full sense.
no, he's a rival. He's
Rival,
a
rival.
Yeah. Mhm.
He was definitely, you could tell like the character Stallone when he wrote that role was heavily influenced by Muhammad Ali.
Yes.
Yeah.
The copy and the arrogance. I know we could do a whole separate video, like what's your favorite Rocky, what's the best Rocky. For some reason, Rocky 3 sticks out for me when he becomes Rocky's trainer, because Rocky falls on hard time, loses to Mr. T, etc.
That's my favorite Rocky movie, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you want
With
to
Mr.
run down?
T.
Do you want to run down the beach to that song?
Yeah. Hey.
in a trading,
Listen.
in an 80s trading montage.
And any Rocky training montage that can get anybody going. Like, but he wasn't just known for Rocky though. Obviously, I mean, continuing the 80s trend here. His role as Dylan in Predator. I think
Yep.
again iconic scene of him and Arnold Schwarzenegger doing that.
Yeah.
Manly bicep handshake.
which is still used today in every single meme that you want to do. Hey, bro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Chubbs in Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, with the
I
fake hand.
had to go back and watch that. He's so hilarious as Happy's mentor. The scene in the mini golf course alone when Happy loses his cool and trying to teach him the ways. You're gonna die, clown. I know we're talking about Carl Weathers here, but him as Chubbs, you're acting like a damn fool.
Yeah, no, he's been in a lot of things. I mean, he was in The Mandalorian. He played Grief Karfa.
I think that's the most recent.
Yeah, that
one.
was the most recent. He played Combat Carl in Toy Story 4, which didn't even, put 2 and 2 together.
That was the thing with him. Like he didn't care like what kind of role he had. I feel like he was that type of actor like where if he saw like the potential of a certain character or if you knew like what he could add to the character, he would just do it.
Right.
Like he was in Balto. I don't know what he was in Balto for, but he was in I love the movie Balto, but he was apparently in that movie.
There's
so
a
it's like he has his voice acting roles and things like that, so he doesn't mind being like like a more secondary character or something more like up front. So that's what made him like such a great beloved actor in the industry.
A little bit of a deep cut. He played a fictional version of himself on Arrested Development. He appeared in 4 episodes.
Oh,
Okay.
I heard about that.
And then he played the role. It still took place in the same universe, in the Law and Order universe. He played the Chicago DA. The first season of a show called Chicago Justice, which was supposed to be Law and Order Chicago in a way, and he appeared on the other Chicago shows in that universe. So he was really good in that role. Unfortunately, that got canceled after a season.
Yeah, because he played in Chicago PD, Chicago Fire, and
Exactly.
Chicago Justice. Yeah.
All those characters interact in their universe, but in the Star Wars universe, he just, with his acting ability, he played a character about he the head in season 1, the head of a bounty hunter guild, just about making money. But as he had good character development over the past, we didn't see him as much in season 3, unfortunately, but he had great character development, going from all about just making money and trying to kill Mando for the highest price to them going to friends, a reliable ally.
It was like almost like a similar role to like Apollo Creed in a way. Like he was like, he started off as like an adversary that became a friend over time, I believe.
Yeah, you could say that. You could say that totally.
And going back to Apollo, when I saw Rocky IV for the first time as a kid on a local station, and I'm like, why did they have to kill Apollo Creed? I guess realizing in time to advance the story. But the legendary story coming out in Uncle Sam, the Red, White, and Blue, James Brown coming to America, unfortunately before, the scene, if he dies, he dies.
He dies. But yeah, no, look, today I found out that he did the voice for Jax in Mortal Kombat X. So it's like he's been all over the place and you don't really pay attention. And like you said before, he was a working actor. He was... somebody told him, hey, we need you for this. Yeah, sure, no problem.
He was definitely one of those actors we took for granted that was always around everywhere. He was always popping up in something new through the various things we just mentioned. And then when we got the news that he passed away, it was just, you're blown away. You forget how old he was. He still looked good. But credit...
He was only 76. So, I mean...
He's
like,
still up there in age.
Yeah, like he's up there, but he wasn't like, like in his 90s or late 80s. Like I think he could have had an extra few years, but I don't even know if he was sick. Apparently he died like peacefully in his sleep according to his family.
Props to his inner circle, because everything gets out these days that they were able to keep such, the sad circumstances in-house until, this event happened. But, I think more people over time will remember the good than this with his legacy of work. I mean, I read it somewhere that for a long time he wouldn't talk about Rocky, he wouldn't talk about Apollo Creed, but over time he embraced it because he knew how much that character meant to people.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't want to be typecast. That's why he didn't keep talking about it.
Which is fair.
Yeah. Just like in the 80s and the 90s, like what's his name?
Ivan Drago.
No. I was thinking of Baywatch and Knight Rider when David Hasselhoff. David Hasselhoff was playing that, and at first he was like, whatever. But then eventually he saw like he can make so much money and talk about it so much that it became a thing for him. So it's understandable. But you guys tell us, what do you guys think? What was your favorite character that I was going to say Apollo Creed, that Carl Weathers played? Let us know down in the comment section. And
rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
Thank you for such a legacy.
Yeah. Thank you for all the great roles. And moving on, we're going to be talking about a little movie called, Johnny, tell us what that movie was called.
We have to give like an abbreviation for this or something. The Ministry of the Ungentlemanly Warfare. So TMOTUW. Make what you will of that.
I'm just going to call it the Ministry of Warfare. So this movie, we saw the trailer. Guys, what did we think?
I'm excited for this movie. This looks really good to me.
It looks interesting. I feel like this is Henry Cavill giving his best Nicolas Cage impression ever. And I feel like I've said this before about other actors that also act completely unhinged in their movies. But yeah, you can tell he's having a shit ton of fun with this character. And it looks like it looks to be like another like Punch a Nazi type of movie.
Right.
It takes place back then.
I'm
And-
totally cool with that.
Yeah, I mean, it could always be up for punching Nazis, but yeah, I mean, he's like I said, he's totally having fun with this role. All of his scenes, I was laughing, and he's just like off the wall, like with his characters. So I'm looking forward to it.
An action comedy movie based on a World War II story about spies and espionage to take down the Nazis. Sign me up.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. And also, we actually found out today that at least it looked like it was based off of a book.
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't know that.
So yeah, neither did I. But what interests me about this, other than the fact that Henry Cavill is in this movie, is that Guy Ritchie is
I was thinking that too,
directing.
yeah.
So I have yet to see a movie from Guy Ritchie that I don't like. I'm not saying all his stuff is great. I'm just saying that I enjoy watching his movies because he's got a certain way. Like even Aladdin, he directed the live action version of Aladdin, and I enjoyed it. Whether you don't like it or not, that's, everything is subjective. But ever since I first saw Lock, Stock, and Smoking Barrels in the movie theaters when it first came out,
Oh,
I was
wow.
like, wow, this guy is great. I mean, you had to really pay attention to what these people were saying because, with the accent and all.
Oh, he did Sherlock Holmes. I didn't know.
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I was about to say I love Sherlock
So-
Holmes.
Yeah.
So yeah, this I think this is a win. Now, what do you guys think? Do you guys think it's going to be as good as we think it is, or is it going to flop? Like,
Okay.
We'll get to that.
yeah, exactly.
So this is the thing about Henry Cavill, and yeah, we'll definitely talk about more of it later. But like, he's just he gets like the short end of the stick all the time when it comes to his Hollywood work.
does.
I mean, his most prominent role obviously is Superman. We all know how that went down with DC and WB, and every other role he's had, it's ranged from just did like a moderate success, maybe like when he was the villain in Mission Impossible.
Right.
I don't think that was like a flop, obviously, but that wasn't anything
Which I think he was great in.
groundbreaking for him. But then he has a bunch of other roles that just he puts his all into it, but despite that, the movie just turns out to not be anything moving the needle in the industry, and I think it hurts him a little bit. And then like all his Witcher drama and everything, so it's we'll see how this does. It might be a fun movie, but I don't see it being
In my personal opinion, I think he's just having fun with the roles he's getting. He's not tied down to a superhero movie to Warner Brothers and DC as much as we want him to still continue that role.
Are you saying he's just jaded by Hollywood and just
No.
says, fuck it, I'm just going to do whatever?
No.
No, see, I think here's the thing. I think he's just playing different characters so that way we can all understand that he's not a one-trick pony, right?
Yeah.
He's
He's not
not.
going to just play that, really buff guy who comes in and steals the scene because he's not wearing his shirt. I think
Yeah.
I think he has range, and from all the movies that he's been in, like he's always played something similar but yet something different with every single character. So I think with this one he plays, like you said, Nicolas Cage. Like if you were to remove him and put Nick Cage in there,
It'd be perfect.
you
for
probably
him.
wouldn't even notice the difference.
Now, did you get vibes to that Now, this is a fictional movie, the Quentin Tarantino Nazi movie that he did.
Oh, something bastards,
Inglourious
Inglourious Bastards.
Bastards.
Yeah, Inglourious
I absolutely thought about that movie right away.
But that's imaginary. That's a fake story. He changed the events of history.
Right.
Quentin Tarantino's movie. I got some of those vibes with this movie, but the fact that it's based on a true story, I think I'm going to enjoy more. But in this trailer, I got those Quentin vibes.
Now remember, guys, it's based on a true story.
Yes.
That doesn't mean, just like the Napoleon movie,
It's adapted.
it's adapted. So
They didn't say inspired by a true story or just based on a true story.
I'm not sure. I think it's based.
Based.
But again, it's not word for word, act for act.
Of course,
It's
you could tell the comical
Listen.
elements they added in.
right.
Napoleon, the movie, was based off of historic events, and we know how that movie went down.
Right.
But yeah, so and creative liberties will happen no matter what. It's Hollywood, so.
I
But
agree.
it looks entertaining. I'll definitely give it a watch. As to whether we watch it in the theater or this is coming into theaters.
This is
right?
coming to
Yes.
theaters.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I'm seeing this. I say we say this in
I'll
theaters.
watch it in theaters, but if I don't and end up watching it on streaming instead, like it's not. I feel like it's not going to kill me. But
Pancakes, I think, is just me and you at the movies. That
yeah,
day.
no, I'll come with you guys. I'm just saying, like, if worst comes to worst, it's not going to kill me.
We have 2 months to figure it out. Comes out in April.
Yeah. So gives us time. So do you guys think that this movie is going to be a bomb? It's going
No.
It's going to be great. It's going to be what? Tell us in the comments and let us know. Now, moving on to the creme de la creme of what we all came here today to talk about.
More Henry Cavill.
More Henry Cavill. That's all we're doing today. We're talking about Henry Cavill. And today, we're going to be talking about Argylle. Now, we saw this movie, 4 days ago? 5? And I'm going to tell you this much. I liked 3/4 of the movie. I thought it was entertaining. It reminded me of The Kingsman, the first movie. To me, it was entertaining. Then it started to get into a little bit of too much CGI. And next thing I know, I was like, this is a date movie. It's not even like, I thought it was going to be an action-packed spy thriller. And it was partially that, but then it turned into a date movie. So I'm like, what? Okay. What did you guys think?
I think Matthew Vaughn needs to just sit down and take a break. Like, listen, this is the guy that gave us the first Kingsman movie, at least. The other movie.
And the second.
No, he gave us all the Kingsman movies, but
prequel.
I'm only giving the first one credit because it's the only one that I thought was good.
Yeah.
X-Men First Class. He gave us Kick-Ass. Like, he has a good repertoire. I'm not saying he doesn't, but like, similar to how Zack Snyder can just go balls to the wall when he's left unchecked with what we saw with Rebel Moon. That was this was Matthew Vaughn's Rebel Moon moment, because man, like, this was a mess of a movie. I can't say I didn't enjoy it, but it was frustrating. But like by the end of the whole thing, and I was just like all the different twists that felt so forced, and it was just like you couldn't trust anything, and like you would think that would make for a fun movie, but it really didn't, just because all the twists made the story not make sense.
Right.
It was so hard to follow, and I feel like we only got like one trailer from this. Like, I'm surprised in Apple too, because I was just like, we had. Even if you didn't like the movie Napoleon, like that was like a Ridley Scott feature. That was a pretty big movie. We had Kills of the Flower Moon with Martin Scorsese. And this is your third theater outing, and you picked this? Like, I don't get their logic with that. But because this is the thing, not all of this isn't the first movie they did since Napoleon. Another movie came out that they only put on streaming with what's his name, Mark Wahlberg, called The Family Plan, and that was another spy action flick. If you were looking for that type of movie, that was the movie to watch.
Oh, damn!
It was a little similar to like the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, True Lies.
Really?
Like Family Man is actually like a spy and all that stuff. And it wasn't great by any means, but if I had these two movies to choose from, which one's going to go to the theater, which one's going to stay on streaming, I would have picked The Family Plan. So I don't know what Apple was thinking with this, because the trailer, the only trailer we got, it just showed, these characters that you're seeing on our screen above us. It's just, everybody just sees Argylle and thinks, oh yeah, that's the one where Dua Lipa looks really good and she's dancing with Henry Cavill, who has a flat top.
And she was only in the movie for...
She was levitating.
And John Cena makes an appearance, but like, that was not the movie whatsoever.
Right.
And like the twists weren't limited to just the story. It was also in the cast, because who you think stars in this movie is not actually the center stage of the story.
Right.
But
like, Dua Lipa was only in the movie for a minute.
Yeah.
Few scenes, yeah.
Right? So she was in the movie for a minute. Henry Cavill was in 5 minutes of the movie.
Which is ridiculous.
Very. Who else was there? John Cena was maybe 3 minutes in the movie.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson was.
John Cena was actually in the entire movie. You just didn't see him.
Well, if that's the case, we didn't see Henry Cavill
You
either.
just didn't
For once, it wasn't me making that joke.
Yeah. So, look, I still say if you watch the movie and stop it right before that whole glitter bomb effect happened, I think it was a good movie. Once that glitter bomb happened, where it went all, semi-anime, where things were just...
I'll say this. This is the best and the worst movie I've seen of 2024 in the theaters, considering it's the only movie I've seen in theaters in 2024.
Okay,
But look,
it's true.
I probably obviously liked it the most out of the three of us. To the end, it got dragged one twist too many, but I like what they did. It was a roller coaster. It was very entertaining. It delivered for me. The box office, the critics, and you two disagree otherwise.
That's the thing too. Like, I mean, regardless of what you guys feel, the box office for this thing is horrible. It bombed. This movie bombed hard. I think opening weekend was 18 million. You know how much this movie cost to make?
$200.
Well, so this is the thing too. Another
Yeah.
thing with Apple that it cost 90, but then Apple spent like 200 or so, or whatever they spent to boost it up to 200 just to get the rights to host it. So it's just like, what, like, why would you make like such a budget out of this movie knowing that it's a mess and that it's, you know, I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking with this.
But wait, there's rumors that he also took. So technically, the budget was. So the rumors are, right? He technically took that money that he got from Apple, the $200 million, right?
Yeah.
Not only did he make the movie, he also filmed another movie with Chris Hemsworth, okay, and with Sam Rockwell, who, by the way, Sam Rockwell in this movie was phenomenal. Okay, I think he was hysterical. He was great. But he filmed another movie that is supposed to be, as he says, actually, I have to find the quote because he says it's the most amazing action movie you will ever see in your life. So if you think they didn't say no to him now, this movie that comes out might be even more than.
What's this movie though?
It's. Give me a second and I'll find it.
It's a movie that's going to come out soon.
Yeah.
Well, getting back to go back to Argylle for a sec, like you were saying, Speed, Sam Rockwell was the true star of this movie. He delivered in every single scene. He took advantage of every second and minute he was absolutely great. So he was the scene stealer in this movie. I did like the twist that going into this movie, you thought that Bryce Dallas Howard was an author that was going to be living in the event of her book were for real, but they did like the twist that she was a brainwashed former agent,
which was so stupid. I'm sorry. That was like I can't believe her to be a spy, like a badass spy that knows all these different fighting styles and all this stuff. I can't believe her to be that type of person for a second. So like once the movie went in that direction, that's when I was like, oh come on, like you're killing me a little bit.
How'd you like Bryan Cranston as the main villain?
So
he was a highlight.
He was good. He was good. Okay, so listen, I found out the thing. So right now it's going by a working title of Project X.
That's actually a movie name. Like you never heard of Project X, the college party movie?
Yeah, I've seen that. Okay. Now, it stars Chris Hemsworth and Sam Rockwell, and Vaughn is the producer of this movie. Now, here is a direct quote that he said on the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast. I've been producing a very, very special movie. Very excited about it. I just saw a half an hour cut. This will have the same sort of impact as Kick-Ass did. What can I say? It's a movie that is written, directed, and starred my stunt team. It is a film like no other movie that has ever been made, and it also got Chris Hemsworth and Sam Rockwell in it, plus some other very, very interesting cameos, and it's reinventing an action movie. Let me tell you something, okay? If you're reinventing the action movie and Argylle was the one that came before, we've got problems.
I was gonna say,
Totally
this is what I was saying before. Like, he's just got to take a step back for a little while, and because it's just, I feel like he's getting like ahead of himself, thinking that like he's the one that can create all these crazy twists of movies and whatnot. But like again, he's like another Zack Snyder that he's just he needs somebody to tell him like this isn't going to work. You're going too far with your ideas. Your last few movies have all been bombs. Like. It's he's losing his reputation like movie by movie. I feel like because he hasn't like the last two Kingsman movies kind of flopped. This movie flopped. I think he had another movie. Did he have another movie that didn't do well that I'm not thinking of? But like I don't know. But like like I said, his early stuff with like Kick-Ass and X-Men First Class and stuff like that's what got him the reputation that he had in the first place. But it's just now he's I don't know. He's getting too big headed. Maybe I don't know what it is, but
I mean, he's produced a lot of movies. So
Yeah.
he produced Bloodshot, which was a horrible movie.
Never seen it.
well, regardless, I
He
mean,
did Rocket Man. He produced Rocket Man. I mean, that was pretty good. The Kingsman's all flopped except for the first one. Not flopped. They didn't make as
the last
much.
one flopped. Kingsman flopped.
Yeah.
Speaking of
The Secret Service, right?
Speaking
Kingsman?
of
Yeah.
Kingsman,
Oh yeah. The
so apparently
The after
this
credit
is,
scene.
post.
this
No,
is
mid credits.
Mid credits.
this movie flopped as hard as it did, and that's another thing too. Like it was planned with a whole connected universe in mind, and we saw a glimpse of that in the post credit scene. Spoiler alert, I guess, but nobody's watching this movie anyway, so who cares? But yeah, I mean they directly tied it into the Kingsman, and like the character of Argylle, like that was the character
Right.
that Bryce Dallas Howard was writing about, is in the Kingsman universe. So I guess they're going to be talking, like they're going to be making, or they were planning to make movies about the book stories or whatnot. But after this flop, I can't see them moving forward with
But
this
see,
at all.
I have a question. We don't want to spoil it too much. Never mind my question.
No one's
Forget
no one's
No,
really
just
watching this
say
movie.
it. So
Spoiler alert!
If
Turn back
Dakota-
now if you don't want to be spoiled. But
right,
hey,
spoilers.
Yeah.
Spoilers. If Dakota, what was her name? Dakota Johnson, right?
yeah.
If she was Argylle in this movie, right?
Oh, you're talking about no Bryce Howard.
Oh, sorry,
Dallas-
Bryce. Dakota.
You're thinking of Madam Web.
Madam Web, yeah. That's next week, by the way. All right. So Bryce Dallas Howard in this movie is Argylle. Now, at the end of the movie, at the mid-credit scene, we meet Argylle again. Like, I don't understand. Am I not getting something?
It's I thought it was the younger version of Henry Cavill's Argylle. That's what I'm saying. Like they're making the movie about her book story. It's like a movie universe within the universe. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks a
that-
lot, Matthew Vaughn.
it-
You confused the crap out of me.
But this movie, like I said, it was planned with like other movies connected in mind. Apparently, I think they were making some sort of TV show. Like they wanted to make a TV show out of this too. That was also connected. But it's like you had all these expectations, and like you put out such a bad movie. I don't know that's completely bombing in the box office. I mean, this is going to take a hit to his reputation, Matthew Vaughn. I don't know. And I had something else in mind. Oh no, with Henry Cavill too. I mean, this is just another hit to his resume of
Yep.
disappointments for him. I feel bad for him because like he did what he needed to do in this movie, but like like DC with Superman, like The Witcher and all that stuff, he just keeps getting the short end of the stick, and he just can't get that household name down, or like that iconic role down for himself.
You know what though? But I don't think he needs to, because he's such a good actor, right? That no matter what character he plays, like you can't tell me watching Argylle you didn't enjoy him playing the character of Argylle.
No,
it was great.
He's not a bad actor. This is the problem is that like
He's
studios
in shitty movies.
studios are expecting him to be a guy that if you see his name, he's going to get butts in seats, and he's
Right.
not.
no,
like at what
you're right.
point do you just kind of like look at him and say, listen, he's just not the guy. But which is unfortunate, but it's just the pathway that he took that it's showing that his potential is just not there. Like he's not going to be a Tom Cruise where if you see him in another movie, you're gonna be like, oh, I gotta watch him because I gotta watch this movie because Henry Cavill's in it. No, clearly that's not the case.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Yeah. So pancakes. Any closing thoughts?
Bryan Cranston, as the main villain, was also one of the few highlights. Well, I enjoyed most of the movie, so a lot of highlights for me. His character felt like a combination, like he was playing a combination of Walter White from Breaking Bad and Hal from Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah, I would
He,
agree.
he kept going back and forth between comical and serious, and comical and dark, evil, but still being funny.
I would agree with that totally.
And God, I hated that freaking CGI cat.
Oh, I forgot about that. Holy. Okay.
Was that a leftover cat from the Marvels?
Yeah, right.
No, the Marvels was better than this one.
So it was a leftover Flurkin model that they had.
Oh my God, look.
There was no point in the cat. It was just there for cheap comedy relief.
It wasn't even cheap. It was shitty. Yeah. So, listen, everyone, These are our thoughts on how we loved this movie so much because we hated it.
2 out of 3.
Yeah, 2 out of
Pancakes
3.
liked it.
Pancakes liked it. But yeah, so let us know what you guys think. Did you see it? Did you like it? Did you see it? Did you hate it? Let us know in the comments section below, and let's interact a little bit. Talk to us. Other than that, guys, do we have anything else to say?
Like, share us, subscribe to us, and follow us on social media, on Instagram and TikTok. And we're gonna be having a podcast soon, a podcast platform soon. So look forward to that.
Other than that, guys, we're
Roll-
out.
roll
credits.
Roll credits.